Well, back to you, Ms. Chapman, and let's unpack the political theatre behind this transformation. And the Atlantic calls the War Department rebrand cringe. Is that just partisan rhetoric, or do you think there is legal or institutional concern behind the mockery?
Well, The Atlantic is a notorious left-wing publication. They have been extremely opposed to President Trump since his first term. However, The Atlantic does get some things right, and they are correct. This is cringe in the sense that it is a distraction, and it shows that instead of pursuing diplomacy and instead of pursuing areas in which we have strengths, we are now, Trump is essentially reverting to, once again, this might makes right. This is a big distraction. This is more for publicity at home because he knows that Congress will not change the name to the Department of War. And his saying, well, it can be a secondary title. This is nonsense, and Trump should not be wasting time focusing on the name of the department when our military budget is $1 trillion. This is unsustainable in light of our massive $37 trillion debt, in light of the fact that our military can no longer produce the munitions that we need when we need them. We have said that we were going to sell the European Union weapons for them to give to Ukraine. Well, it turns out we do not have the weapons ready to sell them. And the European Union does not have the money to purchase them. And Ukraine does not even have the soldiers to use them. So this is just one more example of Trump spinning his wheels but not accomplishing anything. Mm-hmm. The Atlantic is correct. This is not just cringe, but this is a distraction. And the American people are becoming increasingly frustrated because what we see is that the president is committing weapons that we need to give to other countries who are acting against the American interests. Right. Trump says he wants long-term peaceful relations with Russia while we are sanctioning them. Every single one of our actions, in fact, when Trump said they are conspiring against us, this ignores that for decades our actions have pushed our allies away from us. And indeed, Trump's most recent actions, the heavy sanctions on Russia, have pushed them into the arms of China. Our secondary sanctions on India have pushed India into the arms of their longtime rival, China. India has never been our enemy. We are picking on India and punishing them because they are a weak link in their desire for neutrality. So Trump is being a bully. We are punishing our closest allies to get them to do things that are against their interest. And by saying we are now the Department of War is not going to fix our recent actions that have excluded these countries and driven them into each other's arms. Right. When we sanction a group of countries, they have to work with each other because that's all they have left. They cannot work with us anymore.
Since you're speaking here about the American nation and if they want or not, now the cost of renaming everything from signage to insignia could be massive. Is this fiscally responsible policy or pure optics?
This is optics, this is theater, and it will be a waste of time, money, and energy. And this just shows that President Trump is not focusing on what the American people want him to focus on at home, and overseas he is allowing other countries to dictate his foreign policy. He is cementing America as the military arm of the IDF, which the American people are opposed to. So these theatrics, this show, these optics only act to hurt his own interests because he is getting opposition at home from his natural supporters. So Trump is weakening his own position. He's weakening the United States and wasting time and money on distractions that are not solving the problems that he is supposed to solve and is only muddying the waters by presenting America as a dominant force that we cannot back up. Once again, Trump is writing checks that America cannot cash, whether in terms of aid, in terms of munitions and military weapons, and in terms of financial support. This is going to weaken Trump at home and make him even less able to carry out his policies abroad.
Right. If I may ask you here, they are not just statements, they are not just words, we're speaking about deeds. Now, the name change also coincides with a purge of military leadership accused of being deep state. Now, are we seeing an erosion of political military norms?
Yes. Well, the purging of high-ranking military officials, this is a reaction to Obama. When Obama took office, he purged the military of basically of generals who told him things he did not want to hear. So the military we were left with was a very pro-Obama. We saw Mark Milley, Colonel Austin. These were generals who were perceived of as weak, but told Obama what he wanted to hear. Now Trump is making the same mistake. He is purging the military of high-ranking generals and military officials who are saying we need compromise, we need diplomacy, our military cannot sustain this outflow of weapons. And we've seen Trump has done this with his cabinet and now with the military, where he wants to be left with yes men instead of with people who will challenge his ideas and help him work out a proper course of action.
Right.
And
if I may ask you here,
correct the name.
Yes, Ms. Chapman, because we're running out of time, and I need to ask you from the legal point of view or standoff, does the Congress have the authority to block the executive order, or would it require a repeal of the Truman era laws?
Well, here, Trump's executive order will not carry that much weight with renaming or having a secondary name. This is going to cause chaos and confusion. He will not be able to pursue this. This will only get Congress more intransigent and more resistant, especially because we now see some Republicans, such as Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, they are now voting with the Democrats to curb Trump's power. And yes, the name is very important. It signals a shift in Trump's thinking. However, this will not be successful. There's too much resistance. And indeed, Truman was followed by Eisenhower, and Eisenhower warned of the dangers of the military-industrial complex and an out-of-control military. So we are now perhaps entering another Eisenhower era where America will be forced to retreat from the world because of events happening, and we will be forced to confront our weakening influence in a multipolar world. This name change will not have Trump's desired intention. It will only sow confusion and weaken us in the long run. We need to pursue true peace and diplomacy.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Ginger Chapman, for your insightful analysis here. And we have heard this is more than a name. It is a message and a mirror, and possibly a mandate for a new kind of military vision, one that celebrates dominance, dismisses diplomacy, and dares the world to flinch. In today's geopolitical chessboard, the US is making a move not just with force, but with words. Renaming the Department of Defense may seem symbolic, but history shows symbols shape perception, and the perception shapes power. This has been In Focus. Until next time, stay informed.